Welcome back to Coast Vue. I really enjoyed that conversation with Clay Williams. We're really lucky to have great leadership at the Gulfport Biloxi International Airport. And, man, it's been so challenging to be in that business. It's been challenging to be in any business, let's face it. But when you compare our numbers to other airports across the country, we're faring very well. And, the fact that we're a very diversified airport with gaming and tourism and business travel and military travel and all that goes with that, we're in a good position. Clay's doing an outstanding job, and of course his board is the dream team. So we're lucky to have such great leadership. Speaking of good leadership, I'm looking forward to the next conversation with my friend Mayor Jay Willis, the mayor of the great city of Pascagoula. How you doing, Jay?
Hey, Ricky, things are great. Thank you.
Great to see you. For people who are listening on the radio, not watching on YouTube or Facebook, you have a nice summery pinkish colored shirt on and a great smile. And you look, I told you for a second, you look healthy, wealthy, and wise today. How's it been being mayor of Pascagoula these days?
Well, I'm finishing up my first year, and things have really gone well. I've been surprised as this train passes by in the background.
Yeah, commerce. That's what that's all about.
That's right.
Hey, listen, it's I love obviously you and I have had this. So we've had the tone of this conversation many times, and that is the fact that with in coastal Mississippi, whether you're in Pascagoula or Moss Point or Bay St. Louis, all points in between, there's something happening. There's community development that's happening. There's a sense of bringing life back to downtown. You're seeing a lot of mixed use and density, and you're seeing, it's exciting. What's happening in downtown Pascagoula right now is urban renewal at its very best, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And it's doing so well because it's so well planned, and it is being laid out exactly the way that it should be to take us from where we have been to where we're going to be. It's a good process, absolutely. And a lot of the credit goes to the Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority, a volunteer group here in Pascagoula that is a public-private organization that truly is making a difference in our downtown area.
Well, I know that you guys have been aggressive with your planning process, with finding opportunities to match some funds and get grants. I think the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund has played into this in some respect. It's been fun watching it happen. I really enjoy my conversations with Paige Roberts from the Chamber. As you know, when she's on, she gives us a great update of what's happening inside the city and all the different developers that are coming to the city and all that's underway there. But what I say to people, and I, you can give me your take on it. If someone hasn't been to downtown Pascagoula in a while, they owe it to themselves to take a little drive over, park, and take a walk around the city to see what's happening. It's pretty exciting.
Oh, it's an amazing transformation. I've lived here all my life, but we have had very little to just minimal investment in the downtown area in the last 3 decades, probably. Well before Katrina, but certainly after Katrina, not much. And we've taken $7 million, I think, in grant money and wound up with $60 million of new investment in Pascagoula. And we're awfully excited about that. And even better, there's so much more coming. It's right around the corner that even greater things. We're seeing new restaurants, we're seeing retail, we're seeing mixed-use development with downtown living, and just the thing that people need to move to Pascagoula and be part of it.
I had Clayton Legier on recently, President and CEO of Merchants and Marine Bank, as you know well, and we talked about the SOS Pascagoula effort and the FEMA rules that were impacting the city greatly. I was just blown away, man, when we sat down and ran the numbers on what it has done to the value inside that city. This is a problem that has to be resolved, isn't it?
It's amazing, Ricky, and the interesting thing is nobody knows about it. And that's why we felt like at this point in time, even though we're 17 years out from the destruction of Katrina, FEMA really threw us a curveball with new flood maps and the 50% rule that's limiting the renovation and repair of homes in our wonderful historic neighborhoods working class neighborhoods. We're not talking about Gulf Front vacation homes. We're talking about where the shipbuilders and the first responders and the school teachers live. That we're seeing that these people are moving away because they're not allowed to rebuild their homes or add on to their homes or put a new roof. It's crazy.
Well, for people who were here after Hurricane Katrina, we knew what the 50% rule meant as it related to if you had damage on your home and that damage was not greater than 50%, then you could rebuild your home and not have to raise your home. That's sort of the way the 50% rule was discussed in that context in the days and weeks and months and years following Katrina. But the way that what there's a perpetuating aspect to this, which says if you are in the flood zones of Pascagoula, which unfortunately Pascagoula, because the majority, I wouldn't say a very large amount of geography went underwater in Hurricane Katrina. There's one data point that causes the maps to the base floor elevations for homes to have to be so much higher because of this one data point. Here we are. We're in a situation where someone, like if a tree falls on your house or you have to get a new roof and it's more than 50% of the value of your home, you can't do it, or FEMA won't continue to insure it. That's a major, major problem.
It is, and the crazy part of it is, just like you said, before Katrina, 15% or so of Pascagoula, some of the really low-lying areas that had flooded in the past, were in flood zones. But because of this one event, in neighborhoods where they had not flooded ever before and have not flooded since, those houses, those homeowners are impacted by this rule, and that is now 90% of all of the properties in Pascagoula. It's critical to the future of our city that we have this addressed, and we felt like getting the word out to the people to let them know the problem that we are facing that others on the coast haven't faced. Now, Sandy Hook, New Jersey is probably going to face it, and we're working to get them part of this movement to give us a bit of relief, and there may be other communities. I'd just like to give a shout out to Mary Martha Henson of the Jackson County Economic Development Foundation. This is Mary Martha's pet project, and she is so good at what she does and such an intelligent young lady. She's helping us lay it out there the way that it needs to be expressed.
Hey, I had the opportunity to go down with my two sons to do some diving and fishing in Key West. It was within a year of Katrina. And, of course, Wilma comes into South Florida, and we went to the Key West Yacht Club, and the guy there was telling us that Wilma had put like nearly 75% of Key West underwater. And I said, really? He said, you didn't know that, did you? I said, no. He said, well, we didn't want you to know about it. We had a lot of cinder block houses here. We cleaned them out and moved on. We didn't want it to affect tourism. But I'm thinking, I bet Key West is being impacted by this. Can you only imagine?
Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely. But it's a critical issue for Pascagoula right now.
Yeah, it's the problem is we get penalized because Katrina hit here. What they should have done is model Katrina in every other community and let it be impacted. Let it impact them similarly as it's impacting us. But we get penalized because it hit us.
Right.
And there's something very unfair about that. But hopefully, I know that Mary Martha, she's got a tremendous ability to understand Congress and the wills of the system, and hopefully we can get to this FEMA issue and resolve it. I mean, it's got to be resolved. I mean, our towns like Pascagoula, in terms of really trying to build the kind of communities where employees need to be able to live closer to work. It's going to really limit your ability to be successful going forward. That is for sure.
And our shipbuilder has just announced that they have 3,000 job openings, 3,000 new jobs, and there's no place for these people to live. I mean, that's incredible.
Hey, I'm excited about the Pascagoula Train Depot. That's going to be a cool project.
Isn't it great? I tell you, that building was built in 1905 and was functioning until the early 70s, I guess, about when I graduated high school, and then it was shut down. It's had a few functions since then, but it's pretty well been abandoned and in really bad shape. There have been a few projects over the years of people trying to do something with it, but from an economic standpoint, it just wouldn't happen. With the appropriation that we got from the legislature and the GCRF money, the BP oil spill, it looks like it's going to happen. And we have a developer who's excited about what that could be.
I love what's happening there, and we'll talk a little bit. We'll describe that project in a little bit more detail when we come back after break. But this is Mayor Jay Willis from the City of Pascagoula, and we'll see you after this. Welcome back to Coast Vue. We're having a terrific conversation with my friend, the Mayor of Pascagoula, Jay Willis. When we went to break, we were talking about the Pascagoula train depot. And to me, it's the perfect example of the kind of project that we want the Gulf Coast Restoration Funds to go toward, because there are certain projects. I would say the mixed-use projects is planned for downtown Gulfport is another example of that. But there are certain projects that you're not going to make the numbers work if you can't find a way to offset some of the cost of the project. And that was the intention of the GCRF funds, that would create an opportunity for us to invest in transformational projects that will pay back for years to come. Describe that project a little bit more in detail, Jay.
Well, again, the train depot is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, 1905. It's been a train stop forever. And with Amtrak coming in passenger train service on the coast, Pascagoula there at the train depot is going to be the only stop in Jackson County for the Amtrak service. We're really looking forward to that. And you talk about transformative, getting that train depot into a better condition with things happening there. It's just going to be great. And interestingly, this project has been looked at in many different forms and by many different investors through the years, and it just wasn't happening without some grant money, some money from somewhere else that could make it economically feasible to take on the magnitude of that project, because the train depot's in really bad shape. But it's working, and the GCRF money is going to allow that to happen. The developer has planned for a microbrewery in the biggest part of it, and maybe an oyster bar restaurant in the other. We're just so excited to have that happening in the train depot and seeing it transformed.
It's exciting. When you go into the city and start to, go street by street and see all the improvements that are being made. I love the art project for downtown, man. What a cool project. And, I've had terrific conversations with folks about that. I mean, what a great way to connect sort of the industrial part of the city to really meaningful art projects that people can be inspired by. When you see things like that come to fruition, it's exciting, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. And to think that we're working through the Walter Anderson Museum of Art and all of their talent, and using high school students in the vocational programs, the college career technical programs in our high schools, to actually construct these art projects with steel and welding supplies donated by Ingalls Shipbuilding. It's just great. It doesn't get any better than that. And this is the first of 3 projects like that. We're so proud that the first one is downtown.
Well, look, when I visit with Julian Rankin, when I visit with Julian from the Walter Anderson Museum, certainly the museum is incredible, and his ability to articulate why that museum is important to coastal Mississippi and all of that. That by itself, with his leadership, is incredible. A great board there, et cetera. But when he talks about the community outreach, the community building work that they're doing, and how important that is to the mission of the museum, it's real. It's really real. And we're lucky to have someone of Julian's caliber here in coastal Mississippi who can make an impact. And look, I've worked around Pulitzer Prize winning writers. Julian is a wordsmith. His ability to describe things in a way that's inspiring, that touch you, is truly outstanding, isn't it?
We are so lucky to have Julian on the coast and the great things that he's doing. And again, we're so excited to have our public schools training welders for local industries and doing art projects through the Walter Anderson Museum of Art at the same time. It's amazing.
You had a lot of success as a dentist and as an entrepreneur, and it could have rode off into the sunset. I described mayors like you. We have many like you across coastal Mississippi that did not have to be mayor. You could have just enjoyed retirement, but you decided to be mayor because you wanted to give something back to the community. It wasn't for any other reason than that. It's got to be exciting to be a person who's sort of really able to appreciate the moment, to be the mayor, and so to be, the most important, promoter of your city, both inside the city and outside the city. That's exciting, isn't it?
It truly is, Ricky, and I feel so blessed that the voters of Pascagoula allowed me to take a turn as mayor, and it is exciting. It's very, very rewarding, and feeling like I have something to offer the city and give some leadership and direction. It's great. It's why we are all around. And one of the goals that I have in being a one-term mayor, I've already made that clear, is to have the ability to nurture some of these other folks just like me who have the abilities to do these type things, to step up and take a turn and say, yes, I think I can do that. And it needs to be people without agendas, without any real other impetus to be a leader, but to be a leader.
I love it. I love when people have that point of view. I'm inspired by people like Mayor Knight over in over in Moss Point and the work that he's doing there and why he chose to do that role. But, you're an inspiring man, and you're very humble, and I appreciate your leadership there, and continue to lead by example, my friend.
Ricky, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me on today.
It's been a pleasure. We need to get together more often. This has been Jay Willis, the mayor of the great city of Pascagoula, and we'll see you tomorrow.